Hello there, this is the Shadow Ranger, and this is a short response video to Truthslayer's video. He was talking about Ring of Honor and asked for people to make video responses as to why they like or dislike Ring of Honor. So I decided I would throw in a short video as to why I am not a Ring of Honor fan. To put it simply, and a lot of people in the IWC are not gonna like this answer, but it is my personal opinion and how I personally feel, and then I'll explain afterwards. I feel that Ring of Honor has too much wrestling, not enough storylines. That is why I don't get into it. Whenever I've tried to watch Ring of Honor, I find it to be boring. The matches are good. I'm not denying that they have some great matches and great in-ring ability, but I just need more stories. The main reason why I love TNA so much is because while the matches may be short and some aren't and they're not all 5-star classics, TNA is a very storyline heavy show, and that's what I watch wrestling for. I like the soap opera aspect of wrestling the most. That is the main reason why I like wrestling, and it's why I like TNA so much right now, because they're very storyline heavy. I mean, right now in TNA, in just a 2-hour Impact show, you got about 8-9 different storylines and feuds going on. It's the same reason why I've been kind of bored with Raw for the past year and a half, because for a long time Raw, outside of whatever the gimmick of the month is, there's no storyline. You know, right now on Raw you have Daniel Bryan, who he has a belt that no one wants. If you actually watch Raw, when's the last time he had a title defense? When's the last time you heard anybody challenge him to a match, or even say they want the U.S. title? You know, Tyson Kidd finally mentioned it last week after a couple of months saying he wants to be the U.S. champion, and then he goes out and gets destroyed by Mark Henry, him and his bodyguard. So it's like, well, that killed that. And I think Daniel Bryan's going to be on Superstar. You know, so much of Raw has been Cena versus Nexus, and everybody else just seems to be there. And it's kind of the same with SmackDown. You have a world title program, and Rey Mysterio feuds with somebody, but other than that, everybody else on SmackDown just kind of seems to be doing stuff, and that's really my only complaint with Ring of Honor and why I just haven't been able to get into it. It's like, you know, it's where's the story? Where's the... I mean, they have storylines, they're just not enough. I like heavy storylines in the show. Also, when I watched Ring of Honor pay-per-views, it's like the opening match will be like 20 minutes long whenever I've tried to watch one, where it's great, but after a while it gets kind of boring. So, in a short version, that's it for me as to not make this video. I'm not really a big match guy. I don't really care if I don't get a 5-star match. I don't have to have 5-star matches all the time. I don't mind having a few shitty matches on the show. I'll take a shitty match if the storyline's good, if the story's good. You know, I'll give you an example of a guy who I really liked watching as a champion, because I liked the angles and the storylines when he was champion, and so many people in the IWC just absolutely hate the guy. And I loved him as champion, and that was JBL, because he was a really good heel, and he had interesting stories. His main story was, he was the heel champion, he would always cheat to win, and Teddy Long every time would try to put him in some kind of match where he couldn't cheat. And somehow, some way, that weasel chicken shit JBL would find a way to screw Teddy Long's rules, screw over the challenger, and escape with his belt. And I loved watching him do it. I loved trying to figure out how is he going to get out of this one with his belt. And it was fun to watch. I like storylines. I don't really care about matches that much. And Ring of Honor puts all of its focus on the in-ring product. Whenever you hear Kerry Silken do an interview, he always tout the in-ring product, how much wrestling is on his show. And he does it to take a shot at TNA. If you listen to Kerry Silken interviews, he almost always takes a shot at TNA in something where somebody mentions how, there wasn't a lot of wrestling on the episode of Impact. He always touts the number of minutes of actual wrestling was on the show, and again, I like a good match as much as the next guy, but I want a story more. Storylines are more important to me, and I felt that Ring of Honor tends to lack enough storylines to keep me interested, and the ones they do have tend to be kind of boring. But keep in mind, it's why I don't watch the show. Why the few times I've tried to get into Ring of Honor, I just never have been able to, and so I don't watch the show. I'm not an ROH hater. I don't bash Ring of Honor, but I just don't ever talk about it at all. For the same reason why I